What is up, gang? Thank y'all for tuning back in with us as always. Much love to all those who showed love on Dee's birthday. Once again, it was on the 10th, but there is still stuff coming in through Amazon that y'all bought from the wish list. So
thank you guys so much for ordering off of my wish list. I appreciate it.
Good love.
So
appreciate
much.
the love, y'all. We really do. Even though I didn't get nothing. No, I'm just playing. It wasn't my day. I'm just playing. Calm down.
Anyways.
But we heading into some more Mr.Ballen. We're gonna do another Mr.Ballen reaction. We know y'all enjoy these and said y'all enjoy when we react to these. Also, I know a lot of you guys were big on the shorts reactions. We don't have to just do horror. I know y'all like to see D get scared, but if there's like any other like short like films out there that y'all feel like we should react to, or that y'all think it's interesting that we should react to, let us know and we'll jump on those too. But keep y'all suggestions flowing in. We appreciate y'all letting us know what y'all want us to continue with. But this one today is top 3 disturbing backstories. That's all we got.
Oh, on another note, look what I got. My favorite color. My best friend got it for me.
So beautiful. So beautiful. Color. And listen, y'all, don't be coming for me in the comment section. Yes, I like to try to solve the mystery before the mystery is solved. If I felt like... No, because they got on me because I said what's his name was guilty. What was his name? What was the last one?
We like to play investigator.
I forgot what his name was. But anyways, he looked guilty. So if I forgot. The one where she killed the husband. Remember the husband? She killed her husband?
Oh, at the honeymoon or something like that. Yeah, and I was blaming him. And they was like, you came early. I was like, I had to. That's why I ain't no investigator or no detective or nothing. Because I'm going to assume right off the jump. He going to get people locked up and it ain't even there.
Ain't no innocent until proven guilty around here.
And then he going to be like, he going to take them out. I'm sorry. I
had to do what I had to do.
Come on out.
Tornado.
On April 9th, 2015, residents of the tiny farming community Fairdale, Illinois, woke up to heavy rains outside and an ominous forecast. Severe thunderstorms were going to persist all day, and then at night, there was a chance of a tornado. Meteorologists were telling residents of Fairdale that if you can, you should evacuate because it's not worth sticking around for.
You know what, off topic, but look, my hat is off to some of y'all that live in some of these places. It really is. Because listen, some of y'all live in Oklahoma, Texas. Y'all be having
brave
weather that just, I'm cool.
I'm
cool. Y'all know y'all used to it, but yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah, they be like, oh, this is nothing. What? I'm scared for my life.
Yeah, we cool. We gonna stay over here in Cali and go
I can't say that because I don't like thunder and lightning. I don't like that.
I can do thunder and lightning.
No, I can't.
Sometimes they be
thunder,
having
oh, heck no.
Some of y'all be having hail this size. Like, I'm cool. No, y'all gotta have hail insurance, weather insurance. Y'all gotta have all kind of. It's our insurance high enough. Y'all need insurance for everything. I'm good.
But if you're gonna ride out the storm, make sure you've taken the necessary precautions and make sure you have a plan for how to get to a shelter if the storm gets really bad. That morning, some forecasters were saying this tornado could prove to be one of the biggest in Illinois' history. But most of the 152 Fairdale residents had lived here their whole lives, and they'd seen bad storms before, even tornadoes, and they had ridden them out before. How could this one be any different? You know, most of the time, the worst that happened was maybe a power line comes down and you lose power for the day. But unlike previous storms, this one was getting worse and worse by the minute. And by 6 p.m. that night, forecasters were no longer theorizing that this could be a huge tornado. They were outright pleading with Fairdale residents to evacuate while you still can. But despite these warnings, the vast majority of Fairdale residents stayed put. They were committed to riding the storm out. By 7 p.m., meteorologists were saying this tornado is imminent and it looks as big or bigger than the last major tornado that came through Illinois that killed 8 people and leveled an entire town. This tornado tonight is going to kill people. Just 15 minutes later at 7:15, the tornado finally touched down right outside of Fairdale. It was this massive, almost mile-wide tornado with over 200-mile-an-hour winds. And unlike other tornadoes of that size that typically move at about 30 miles an hour, this one was traveling on land at about 15 miles an hour. Meaning it would be sitting over the areas it was devastating for longer amounts of time, making it even worse than some of the worst predictions that meteorologists had for this tornado.
I always wondered, this is weird, because like my favorite movie coming up was Twister, right? But I always wondered, like I don't want to go find out, but like I don't want to F around and find out. But if you get sucked up a tornado, right? When does your death come? Like, I heard you could get hit by something because stuff be in there that's big.
I was going to say, what if you get hit?
Like, how high do I get before I die? That's gonna be a fear for me because I don't want to be floating up this thing.
Well, not even that, but what if you get high and then you just get
get thrown out?
Yeah, like get thrown out. And then like the fall is what kind of kills you.
That's what I'm saying.
Or like, what if you get thrown out and then like your body hits a point you're like,
yo, death can be very traumatic in that situation.
What if you hold on to something inside the tornado?
I don't know. See, that's why I said I don't want to F around and find out.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that.
Though, exactly. I think about that when you get like he said, this will slow down 15 miles an hour. Now it's just twirling.
But 15, when you're in something that's wind, it's pretty high.
That's what I'm saying.
15 minutes later, at 7:30 p.m., 84-year-old Fairdale resident Clem Schultz and his wife Jerry Schultz, they were at home because they had decided to ride out the storm. As Clem is sitting in the living room watching the Weather Channel, kind of waiting for the last possible second to go into their basement, he hears his wife yell out from the kitchen to come in here and look at this. So Clem goes into the kitchen and she's pointing out the back window and he looks out and he sees this massive tornado coming right at them. It's less than a mile away and it is way bigger than he thought it was going to be. But from their perspective, because the tornado was spinning counterclockwise, it kind of looked like it was spinning away from town into this empty field. And Clem says to his wife, Jerry, you know what? It looks like it's going to miss us, but we're probably going to lose power. So I'm going to go up into the attic and get some lanterns ready. So Jerry stays in the kitchen. Clem goes up into the attic. And as he's fishing to get out the lanterns, he hears what sounds like a freight train barreling through town. And he had this little window at the edge of his attic. So he goes over and he looks out. And the tornado had not veered off into the open field. It had continued straight towards his house, and it was ripping off roofs right in front of him. And he figured, I don't have enough time to go down into the basement. I have no time to do anything. So he takes out his phone, and he begins recording.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I was going to say, because at first I'm like, is it playing? I'm like, that's kind of slow. He might have had time to get down there. But now that I see this speed.
Oh my gosh, that is so freaking scary.
So he basically recorded his death?
Oh, he died?
Well, I'm guessing.
Oh.
Don't y'all start. Don't y'all go in the comments. Listen, I'm saying I'm guessing. Don't y'all start in the comment section talking about, there you go. I'm saying. That's fast. Wait, what did this move? I think he had time to go to the basement. Oh, he 84 though. He might have been. Okay, I got to his age. 84. Maybe he did that. I mean, I had to get the footage somehow. Like he texted somebody.
Clem's house, along with all the others in that video, collapsed. And initially, Clem thought he had died because it went totally quiet and it was totally dark. And he actually said out loud, "Am I dead?" But it was the pain in his back from a crushed vertebrae that told him, no, you survived. And he begins to kind of pull himself out of the rubble, and before long, a neighbor is pulling him out. And as soon as he's out of the rubble of his house, he looks around, and his whole community is pretty much gone. Oh. And as he's standing there kind of bewildered, his neighbor says, "Clem, don't look down." And Clem says, "Why?" And his neighbor says, "Because your wife is under you and she's dead." When the dust had finally settled, not only had Clem's wife been killed, but Clem's neighbor had been killed as well.
Oh.
So did she didn't make it to the basement? She probably was waiting for him. Because he did tell her after he said he'd go.
Oh, no.
She probably stayed in the kitchen and waited.
Yeah.
She waited for him to come down. Dang, that's crazy. He was up top and she was. Man, that sucks. That's crazy though, that footage. Like,
I don't want to cry.
But imagine though, he has that footage to live on forever. Like, you think about like our video and then his wife. Like, it's gonna be a reminder. Like, he's gonna watch it. He probably watched it. This is very, very sad.
Because the tornado went directly through their two houses. That video that Clem shot is now used to educate people on how dangerous tornadoes really are, and how anytime a tornado is coming through your area, never go outside to film it, seek shelter.
I don't think he had a choice though. Like, he didn't initially go up there to film it. He was going up there for something, and he just had it been to be like, you know
just
what?
want to use his footage because he got some good footage.
Exactly.
Talking about for educational purposes.
Way.
I ain't never experienced a tornado, and I can tell you right now, I know they don't play no games. We in California, we ain't never had one. I can tell you they don't play no games. They just know he got some good footage.
I'm pretty sure that guy, as old as he was, he knew what not to do and what to do. And no.
They know he had some good footage. Down the hill.
On Sunday, February 12th, 2017, Abigail Williams was over her best friend, Liberty German's house for a sleepover. Abby and Libby were 13 and 14, respectively. That night, as they're laying in bed, they were looking out the window, hoping they saw snowflakes come down, because there was apparently this huge storm that was going to roll through the next day, and they were hoping that if it did, school would be canceled the next day. But when they woke up the next morning, it hadn't even snowed. However, they found out that in Delphi, Indiana, where they lived, school had been canceled preemptively in anticipation of this big storm that never really amounted to anything. So the girls got a free day off where they could actually go outside and enjoy it. So the girls start talking about how they're going to spend their extra day off. And Libby suggests, well, why don't we go check out the Monon High Bridge? It was this abandoned bridge that crossed over the stream.
Why?
And a lot of their classmates would take pictures on it and post it to their social media. And the girls figured this is a great day to go do that. So Libby asks her grandmother, Becky, who was her primary caretaker, if it would be okay if they went for a hike over near this bridge. Becky gives them permission, but with the caveat that they would find their own ride there and back. So Libby convinces her older sister Kelsey to give them a ride there, and Libby speaks to her father, Derek, and he says he can pick them up, but he'd only be able to pick them up at a very specific time, which would only give the girls a couple of hours at the bridge, but they thought that was fine and had plenty of time. So a couple hours later, at about 1:30 in the afternoon, Kelsey drops off the two girls at the start of the trail that's going to bring them to this bridge. We know the girls made it to the bridge because at 2:07 p.m., Libby posted a picture to her social media of Abby walking across the bridge. Okay. At 3:11 p.m., Libby's father, Derek, texted her and said, hey, I'm going to be there in a minute. Just want to make sure you guys are there to meet me. And she didn't text Derek back, and Derek would later say that that was pretty unusual for her. At 3:14 p.m., Derek arrives at the meeting spot, and the girls are nowhere to be found. And so Derek tries calling. There's no answer. He texts his daughter, no response. And so he ends up calling Becky, Libby's grandmother, his mother, and says, hey, did the girls contact you and change plans about where I was picking them up or when? And Becky said, no, I haven't heard from them. They said they'd be there at 3. They should be there now. I haven't heard from them. And Derek says he can't get in touch with them. So for the next 10 minutes, Becky and her husband, Mike, Libby's grandfather, just try calling over and over and over again to the girls, but nothing's going through. They can't get them to respond to text messages.
Do you imagine, like, the things running through your mind? Like, you could think falling, you think somebody got them. It's probably a million things running through they mind at this point. Like,
literally,
that's wild.
So and Mike leaves
because the picture.
Yeah.
Leaves and meets up with Derek in the parking lot, and the two of them begin walking the trail to try to find these girls. At this point, the family's not suspecting foul play. They're thinking, the girls probably got lost, or they lost track of time, or their phones just ran out of batteries, or maybe they did get hurt and they can't move, but it's probably not that serious. Yeah. They're creating scenarios in their head to rationalize what's happening. But by the time the sun went down at about 5 p.m. and there was still no sign of these girls, they ended up calling the police and officially reporting the girls missing. By 6 p.m. that night, there is this massive search combing the trail looking for these girls, but all night they're looking everywhere with hundreds of searchers and there's no sign of them. The following day, on Tuesday, February 14th, one of the searchers was about a half mile away from the bridge where the girls had been taking those pictures, and they discovered the girls' bodies right next to a creek. The police didn't release their cause of death. However, they said, without a doubt, this is a homicide, because apparently the scene was incredibly disturbing and had at least 2 or 3 signatures. Signatures are things done to the victims that are above and beyond what is required to end their life. Things like writing on the victims, or their body position, or much, much worse. And usually you only see signatures when you're dealing with a serial killer. 3 days after the bodies were discovered, police were able to extract some video from Libby's phone. It turns out when Libby was taking those pictures of Abby on the bridge and had just posted it to social media, apparently this guy had come on the bridge and Libby must have sensed danger and she began filming him. Now, there is apparently a video that starts from the bridge and lasts all the way through the girls' final moments, but the police would release a very small snippet of this recording because it showed who they believe is the killer walking towards them with his hands in his pockets looking down, and he says to them, guys, down the hill.
Guys, down the hill. Guys,
Despite thousands of tips pouring in as soon as this video was made public, they still don't know who this guy is, no arrests have been made, and the case remains unsolved.
That's disturbing as heck.
That's scary.
And the crazy part is, I think what makes it 10 times worse is that they got video of this guy, and it's like he ain't been caught. Who knows if he out there still doing it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's wild. Wow. That is crazy.
That's sad.
And then the fact that they say signatures, like, do you? So obviously he got signatures, so they would know if he continued because he doing it to be whatever.
Or if that was just like one and done.
Yeah,
that's so sad. That's 2 girls.
I thought maybe they was gonna fall or something like something.
Yeah,
like
same. Or like the bridge was gonna collapse or something. That's what I was thinking. I did not think of this.
Wow.
Before The Bachelorette pitted 30 men against each other to win one woman's heart, Americans watched another show about random strangers competing for a mate. It was called The Dating Game. Starting in 1965, this reality show featured a woman asking 3 men questions without seeing their faces and based on their...
I wonder if this has anything to do with the documentary or the docuseries, whatever it's called. I don't know if it's a movie or whatever, but it's on Netflix.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
And it literally looks just like that.
It might be.
I wonder
Probably
if it's really that.
Probably
no, I'm saying, like, I'm just looking at the picture, and I'm thinking of, like, the picture on Netflix. I think that's the exact one. I wonder if that's, like, the spin-off or something, or, like, the, documentary or whatever.
Her answers at the end of the show, she would choose one to go on a date with. On the surface, the September 13th, 1978 showing of The Dating Game looks like every other episode with lots of unsubtle innuendo, but this episode would go down in history as a one-of-a-kind, and not in a good way. At the end of this particular show, it was time for the Bachelorette, Cheryl Bradshaw, to make her decision, and she would choose Bachelor number 1, who would turn out to be this tall, good-looking, long-haired guy whose name was Rodney. Rodney comes around the partition and they see each other for the first time and everybody laughs and they hug, and the show looks like every other show, and on stage, Rodney looks like every other contestant that's ever been on the show. But after the show ended and Cheryl and Rodney went backstage and actually began having a real conversation that was not being filmed, Cheryl would say that Rodney completely changed. He became incredibly creepy and was saying things like, "I always get the girl." And then at some point he says, "Hey, you should come out with me tonight. It'll be a date you'll never forget." And she turns to him and just says, "No thanks." This would turn out to be a really wise decision because Rodney was a horrible, horrible person. Had the show done a background check on Rodney, they would have discovered that he assaulted an 8-year-old and went to jail for 3 years for it and was currently on parole.
I never understood the laws on
3?
I just... That's just something I never understood the laws on.
I wonder if it's that show. Now I have to look at it.
Like, when it came to anything regarding children, I just don't understand the laws in certain places. Like, they get absolutely no time and be out. Like, I just don't understand.
It's called... I wonder if it says it's a murder makes headlines. A young woman aspiring to become an actress and a serial killer cross paths during an episode of the dating show. It's called Woman of the Hour.
Go to Cast.
See? It looks just like it, though. Look.
I know. Just go to Cast.
Why am I going to Cast?
Because it'll tell you the name.
Oh. Cast. Yep.
Rodney.
We're watching that tonight.
Tonight? The Lakers play the Grizzlies.
No.
You ain't even finished your other show. Oh, and you already ready to start something? Now look at you.
But even if they had done a background check on Rodney, the check would not have discovered what he did at night. Rodney was shamelessly cocky and self-confident, and unlike a lot of men, he had no issue walking right up to any woman anywhere and flirting with her. And he used that to his advantage. He would go up to women in bars and he would convince them that he was a fashion photographer and that they were so beautiful, would you come back to my apartment and do a photo shoot with me? And just like Cheryl on the dating show, these women were immediately kind of charmed by him and would say yes. Once they got back to his apartment, he would shut and lock the door and then become that creepy guy that Cheryl saw backstage. But unlike Cheryl, who at the time she saw this just said, "I'm not interested," and was able to leave, These women were trapped, and then whether they wanted to or not, they would do a photo shoot with him, and then he would strangle them to death. Because Rodney Alcala was not your typical dating game contestant. He was a serial killer who, by the time he stepped foot on that show and was chosen by Cheryl Bradford to win the game, he had already killed 4 people. In over a 2-year period, he killed as many as 130 people. Which, if you're doing the math, is over those 2 years, he was killing at least 1 person a week. Alcala was finally apprehended and he was sentenced to death. Here are some highlights from Rodney Alcala's episode of The Dating Game.
And we're going to start by having them say hello to you and see how they sound. Number 1, would you say hello to Cheryl, please?
We're going to have a great time together, Cheryl.
Okay, and here we go.
Bachelor number 1.
Yes?
What's your best time?
The best time is at night, nighttime,
Why do you say that?
because that's the only time there is.
The crazy thing is he don't look like he got that charming look. Like he don't look like somebody that's crazy.
That is so sad.
But a lot of killers though don't be looking too crazy. Like
Ted Bundy did not look crazy.
I know, saying a lot of them don't.
Yolanda did not look crazy.
He looked like a Ted Bundy though.
Did Yolanda look crazy to you?
She did look a little crazy. Yolanda looks a little crazy. She did. She had a little bit in her.
The only time? What's wrong with morning, afternoon?
Well, they're okay, but nighttime's when it really gets good.
Bachelor number 1. I am serving you for dinner.
Oh.
What are you called and what do you look like?
I'm called the banana, and I look really good.
Can you be a little more descriptive?
Peel me.
He was getting her with a sexual...
I'm going to ask you a question. Will that date be Bachelor number 1, Bachelor number 2, or Bachelor number 3?
I mean, she didn't have many options up there.
She really
y'all
didn't.
didn't leave
y'all
her
did
with
this
much.
to her because
Y'all didn't give her many options there to choose from. I mean, I see why she was over there entertaining Rodney.
It's still sad.
It is.
Gets the dates.
Well, I like bananas, so I'll take 1.
Number 1, Bachelor number 1, all right. He's a skydiver, so he's got a lot of nerve. He's into motorcycling. He's also a fine photographer. Say hello to Rodney Alcala. Rodney, come on and say hello. Congratulations, Rod. You did it with the 1 answer.
Imagine how she feels.
Imagine to know that
You
he
could have
did
been...
what he did, and you could have been the next one.
She good thing she went with her gut instinct though, like he was creeping her out in the back. Cause
You
man,
know what? I don't. Oh my god.
ain't Rodney.
A banana.
I mean, he was
A
in it.
banana.
Them lines are working.
He said, "Peel me."
Them lines are working.
Peel me.
They gonna work
Boy,
for somebody.
I'm a grape. Squeeze me. You get grape and you squeeze it. No.
I'm gonna just keep my comments to myself.
Or you could be like, I'm gonna say, like, you could say like a celery or something like that and be like, juice me up. Because, you know, people drink the juice. Celery
Just
juice.
leave it. Just leave it. Just leave it. Just leave it.
Okay.
But y'all, this was another.
If y'all could come up with a
video.
funny one, a good one, put it down below in the comment section.
Let us know what y'all thought about all these stories. 'Cause
Yeah,
these are crazy.
definitely. I think it's crazy because that we watched this. If you haven't heard about it, or if you haven't seen it, if you have Netflix, definitely go watch that show called Woman of the Hour. It's literally based on the dating show. Now you know if you didn't know. So, because I'm gonna watch it too, so we could talk about it. But yeah.
Thank y'all for tuning in with us always. Thank y'all for being lovely individuals. Don't come for me in the comment section because I did not accuse anybody of anything this time.